Welcome back to my Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm Dear Darling, as you see what's going on on our lovely island of Fawnhollow today. Well, I don't know what to talk about today. I was thinking, sometimes I've got a bit of time before I start recording these episodes. I'm like, is there anything I particularly want to talk about? Is there anything going on and which would be fun, or something I've seen recently which might make sense? But honestly, not really that I can think of. I haven't been consuming a lot of media recently. Sorry, my nose is a little bit runny. Like hay fever or something, I suppose. Hay fever season's starting up again. Whenever hay season, that's not what it's called. Hay fever season, sorry, comes back, I always think of this one comic from this UK newspaper that I used to read. But anyway, hello everyone. Right now in Fawnhallow, it's 4:40 PM on Wednesday, April 6, 2022. Okay, so this is Gulliver. I actually can't remember. It was basically like I used to take a train to school, my high school that was, and on the train there, the train had like and a lot of people read newspapers on it, and sometimes the people from used to take trains to go to work would leave newspapers just on the seats, for other people to read. I assume. I can't say newspapers I don't particularly. I feel like conceptually I'm fine with newspapers, and the biggest problem I have with them is they're always so dirty. You always touch them and your hand always gets covered with a load of black ink stuff or whatever, and I'm not particularly fond of that sort of thing. I do like to have clean hands, I suppose. I don't really know how else to put it. And newspapers, and because I guess because of a printing process or whatever, leave a lot of sort of scuff and butter. And trains aren't always exactly the cleanest thing in the world. Sometimes they have a lot of dirt and grime on them, especially the seats. My word, don't ever some of the seats on the trains can get very dusty, is perhaps how I describe it. But yeah, there was a one comic, and I really can't remember what it is. It was a comic where it was two girls, and two women, and one man, and one of the women had blue hair. She always had tied up in space buns, and then and the other woman was a goth girl or something. I don't really recall. I don't know why this comic stuck with me, because it's not even a particularly moving comic or motivational or anything. It's not like I read it and was like, oh man, that hits me right in the feels, or speaks to me on a personal level or anything, because I don't even have hay fever that badly, to be honest. I have my eyes get a bit itchy and sometimes my nose gets a bit runny, but that's about it. But it's just the goth girl just running out into the street when it's raining and just looking so uncharacteristically happy of her, because I suppose the stereotype of goth was having that, not dead face, but a rather stoic expression and that sort of thing. And then the blue-haired girl is just leaning to the guy and going what's up with her, and the guy just goes oh, it's something like rainy seasons where her hay fever allergies don't actually act up. And I was just it's such a random newspaper on comic, I suppose. Sometimes you read them, I'm trying to think of what other ones there were, but Pearls Before Swine was actually quite a common one, and there was another one which got replaced at some point by Pearls Before Swine, I think. I can't remember what the previous one was, to be honest. But maybe I can find it, hold on. Newspaper cartoon. Cartoons latest by us. Let's see what it's called. No, hold on, but these are the pictures of it. I can see you Google images. Nemi. The Nemi cartoon. That's what it is. Hold on. Maybe I can find it. Nemi cartoon. Hay fever. Do you think this actually comes out? Oh, there it is. Here it is. It's such great weather, says the goth girl. Is that one of those goth things? Says the guy. And then the other girl goes, it's a hay fever suffering thing. I don't remember why I remember this this particular comic so well. I don't even. It's such it's not a non-comic or anything. I'm not going to criticize the comic author for being wow, I can't believe you have a really clever, super punchy punchline or whatever for this comic or anything like that, because it's probably quite difficult. Not probably, it is incredibly difficult coming up with a comic, I'd imagine, every single day, and trying to come up with an interesting punchline and have something that'll be engaging, etc., and then churn it out in the space of 24 hours. But I'm just more surprised that this particular comic has stuck with me all those years or whatever. I don't know. Something about it which I can't even begin to tell you why. But anyway, hay fever season's coming back, and much to the chagrin of most people who actually have hay fever. It's a little bit of a strange situation because I used to have hay fever, I feel like, quite badly when I was younger. And then, well, not badly, okay, I'm going to say badly like it was like not deliberating, debilitating, or anything like that. It was, I would classify it as a nuisance. But now, you know, it's got a lot better. Like, my eyes don't really get that itchy anymore. Like, before when I was younger, my eyes used to be always, like, super itchy. Now the only thing that sort of remained is my nose, you know, gets kind of runny. Like, I suppose a little bit TMI and the mucus build up in my nasal passages increases. I don't know why I thought it would be better to try and describe it in a very scientific way, but there you go. And I do live in an area with, like, a reasonable amount of, like, vegetation and flowering and that sort of thing. But I don't live like in a big city or anything. I live like in a small town, mid-sized town. I don't really know what to describe it as. So of course there's a lot of like pollen and flowers and stuff and all around him, yeah, etc., etc. Which I mean, like, I'm not really an expert on how much hay fever works. I suppose it's not something I really particularly ever looked into because, you know, it's never affected me that badly. Like, some of my friends, they take, like, hay fever tablets about something because it's, you know, much worse for them. Or I'm just sort of like, it's a bit of a nuisance for me, which, you know, I'm certainly where I get off lucky when in that regard. I assume hay fever is, like, an allergy to certain types of pollen, which are more common during the springtime because, you know, that's, like, the pollination season for a lot of plants. Yeah, okay, I was just checking, we gave one her Prezi. And that's like how the allergy comes about because of the irritation, I suppose, which comes from it. But I don't really know, like, what pollen, like, I suppose affects it. Is it like grass pollen? And I'm trying to think, like, what sort of, because it affects lots of different areas, and I assume it's a thing in multiple different countries. But I suppose, you know, perhaps it's more common in certain other countries than others, depending on the vegetation type that the flora that exists in that country or locale to that climate. So I would assume it's just grass pollen, but I don't really know. I don't really know how grass really pollinates itself either. Like, I've taken biology lessons back in school, whatever. And I know there's different types of pollination. There's not all through bees. A lot of it can be through wind pollination. And you have a stamen. A stamen with the filaments and the anthers, and they have a pollen on which may try and get pollinated with to the stigma. And can I remember the parts of a plant? I can't remember what the middle part's called. The stigma, is it like the stigma and the style and the something? Sorry, you get to Google. Flower diagram. Stigma style is like ovum or something, isn't it? Ovary. Oh, pistil, that's what middle thing's called. I actually can't believe I remembered stigma style and filament. That's unbelievable. That's some GCSE biology carrying me there, I suppose. But how does it work for grass? Grass diagram. Like, is grass I assume grass have flowers, but I don't actually know what grass flowers are. Or what they look like, or what the common grass flower is. It's a bit hard to tell. You would have thought I'd know. What's common grass called? And I was going to... Oh, sorry, I keep punching my microphone. I was meant to type Wikipedia, but I put Wikipedia. Poike. Oh, here we go. Here's the flower. Flowering head of a meadow foxtail with stamens exerted of antithesis. Oh, okay. Oh, so these things are the grasses flowers. You know, I never actually considered that. You know, you learn a little something every single day. These flowers I see all the time in the fields and that sort of thing. Those other grasses flowers. I honestly thought they were just a different flowering plant or that sort of thing. They were just like some different genus of plant. You know, things like buttercups and daisies, which only really appear during the springtime or something like that. And honestly, it makes perfect sense. I don't know why I never really considered that before. I wonder if it's particularly common, or if it even exists for like plants to not have flowers, but still pollinate through, you know, standard pollination methods. I'd imagine so, but again, I'm not what's someone who studies flora called? Plantologist, florologist, florist? No, a florist is more like a flower ranger, well, not flower ranger, someone who grows flowers, right? Oh well. Anyway, I've always assumed it was grass pollen or something, which is the leading cause of hay fever allergies. But I suppose you could probably have different types of hay fever, right? So maybe that's why I have a milder version. Is like the pollen that I'm got mild allergies to or whatever is perhaps less common or something. So I feel its effects less often. Hay fever, Wikipedia. Boots. What? Oh, probably like of a drugstore in the UK is called Boots. Probably for like medicine or something. Symptoms: stuffy nose, sneezing, red, itchy and watery eyes, swelling around eyes, itchy. Oh man, I just got a flashback to like a memory I had in year 5. I'll talk about that in a second. I want to see what's up. Triggered by environmental allergens such as pollen, pet hair, dust or mould. Ah! Hay fever redirects it. I didn't realise it was other thing as well. I guess that makes sense. I always assumed hay fever was always explicitly just for pollen, but growing up on a farm and having multiple siblings decreases this risk. What? Inherited genetics and environmental exposure contribute to the development of allergies. Growing up on a farm and having multiple siblings decreases this risk. Oh, so I guess like repeated exposure or something to it? Repeated exposure to it or something allows your tolerance of it to be built. Like, I understand the farm thing. I don't understand having multiple siblings decreases this risk. There must be some sort of correlation thing which works out. I'd imagine not. It's not like a direct cause of, oh, you've got a new sibling, which now everyone's like immune systems have now upgraded, I suppose, in that aspect. Yeah, but I don't know. I've never actually taken like any hay fever tablets or anything. I used to have like these eye drops, and sometimes I'd had like this nasal spray or something. By the way, nasal sprays are weird. they feel very weird. Eye drops I'm completely fine with. I'll be perfectly honest. I know a lot of people have like issues with like applying eye drops to themselves because like they always keep like blinking. You had to like trick yourself into it. I don't know. I feel like I've never really had. Well, I probably had problems because when I was younger with them or something. But I started quite young using them, so. I started using them when I was quite young, if I was to phrase that in the actual English, the correct way for the English language. So I guess I just got used to it rather quickly, or something like that. Yeah, anyway, close out my computer article. But the thing I was thinking about is I remember now, like, I wonder if this was before I knew I had hay fever or something like that. I'm trying to remember exactly what happened. It was one of the school trips I had when I was like 5 or something. Hold on, year 5. So that put me at like 10 years old. I think that sounds right. Well, we stayed a week away. I think on the south coast of England, so somewhere around there. Yeah, south coast of England, and basically we just went around doing things, sightseeing and that sort of thing. It's just basically sort of like baby's first like week away school trip or something. And one of the things which happened, and it was like on one of the days, I think it was like on the penultimate day or something, we were just like on this field or something, just like everyone was just having a good time, like, some boys were like rolling down the hill and that sort of thing, and we're making like daisy chains and that sort of thing. And I just remember like lying on the field and looking upwards and being like, man, like I did one of the rolls down a hill or something, and then like I was like, oh man, one of my right eye suddenly just got insanely itchy, and I have no idea why it is so itchy, but I forgot what I was going to say from this. And I kept itching it because I was like 10 at the time. I hadn't really had something super itchy before. I hadn't been told by adults to be like, don't continuously itch, otherwise you'll irritate it more and more. Because I thought, at the time I was just like, oh man, I think something's got in my eye and trying to get it out of my eye. Oh, obviously, I think I can look back on it and be like, I don't know, maybe it's got irritated by something. In the field, you're probably kicking up a lot of pollen. Was it in the springtime? It might have been around the springtime. I don't really know. Spring to summerish time, so probably around the sort of a pollination season. I just kept itching it, and I remember I'd continuously itching it. I was getting really irritated and annoyed by it because it was starting to get like a little bit painful or whatever. And then like I remember we went to like a restaurant and we were having a meal or something for dinner, and like one of my friends, she was just like, is your eye okay? What happened to it? Or something like that. I mean, I can't remember. I kept like going to the bathroom, like splashing water on it because it kept getting so irritated. And me being who I was back then, I was too scared to be like go up to a teacher and be like, hey, something's like wrong with my eye. I don't really know what's going on. Which is even what sillier, because we had the school nurse came with us on a trip. Which now I think about it, I wonder what happened at school when the school nurse came with us to a trip. What happened to like all the other students if they had an injury or something? Because our kids are always injuring themselves. But yeah, we had like I can't remember what other teachers were on the trip off the top of my head, but I think the headmaster was with us along with our class teacher and the school nurse. That sounds about right. Wait, didn't I have 2 teachers back in year 5? Maybe, I don't remember. And I remember talking and eventually going to the school nurse, and you know, she was like, I don't know, she gave me advice. I think, or maybe she was the one who told me to like wash her eye, like stop itching it, don't irritate it, that sort of thing, and then maybe get like a sort of ice pack to put on my eye. Because I remember it happened also that same like evening that day, someone afternoon, one other classmate also injured themselves. I can't remember what they did. I can't even remember which who injured themselves, but I remember some other classmate also injured themselves and also needed like an ice pack, so it was just like two of us with ice packs or something because of whatever reason. Anyway, a long story short, the swelling went down, like started to go down the next day and then went like completely away, I suppose, and then 2 or 3 days afterwards just with a bit of soreness, I suppose, in my red eye. I assume it's like, I don't know, what's that called when you get like an eye infection? Conjunctivitis? Is that the right term? I don't remember, I'm not a biologist, so I'm going to be perfectly honest. I guess that's not even biologist, I guess that's technically medical science. Ophthalmologist? I think it's eye doctor, I can't remember. No, wait, hold on, that should be optician. What's ophthalmologist? Oh, maybe that's a nose and throat doctor. I don't remember. The terms are very confusing in my mind. But yeah, what was I going to say about that? Yeah, I don't know. So I suppose that was my first introduction to much more annoying, I suppose, hay fever symptoms compared to other things. Manila clam is not what we want. We are looking for garabar. Wait, hold on. Have we got the recipe? I don't know if we got the recipe from for crafting villages today, but I don't think we have. I don't think we've actually entered anyone else's houses. But still, Audie's just asleep, so let's not disturb her sleep. That stuck in my mind because I remember we made like thank you cards for all the teachers who accompanied us on the trip or whatever. And I remember this is just another sort of small side story. It's like everyone like drew a picture on like this A5 piece of paper, and then like the top 3 like best pictures or whatever would be chosen and stuck to the cards that we gave to them. Mine was chosen for one of them. I think mine went to the head teacher or something. It was for him. I think I drew the hotel we were staying at or something. It's actually really weird to think about because it was literally like this really small sort of hotel, like a village sort of maybe like hostel or something, and it was literally like, that entire hostel was like all of the people in the rooms were just people from my class. So it's 30 of us. And I remember I was on the top floor with like 2 other boys, and that was good fun. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say. And it was pretty amusing going to other people's rooms and seeing what was going on. I forgot where I was going with this. Yeah, there's not really like much of an overarching lesson or thing to take away from this, I suppose. And if you have hay fever, my condolences to you. It's a rather irritating thing, I suppose, to deal with. Especially if you're someone who loves nature, and you know it's sort of a double whammy of badness. You love nature, but you can't interact with it, at least during the springtime and that sort of thing. And hopefully, you know, maybe you take what do we call it, like histamines? Is that antihistamines? I forget which way around it is. Whatever tablets that you can take with a hay fever to hopefully alleviate some of the symptoms or the problems. Wait, is it called? Well, hold on. Would it be called symptoms or like effects? Consequences or something? Which come of it, man. I don't know what. I'm not well informed enough about medicine to really know these sort of proper terms you're meant to be using, so I apologise. Yeah. Oh yeah, I was talking about the card, and I remember like all of us, of course, we wrote like a personal message to each of the teachers, being like whatever, and you know, for some of our teachers, like thank you, you know, the headmasters like thank you for, you know, accompanying us on the trip and, you know, doing this funny silly stuff, and to another teacher I was like, oh, thank you for organising this or like looking after us. And then one of them went to the nurse, and I was just like, thank you for like helping me treat my eye, which, you know, obviously at the time when I wrote it, I was like, oh, this makes sense, you know, this is what she helped me with. And, you know, even looking back on it, I can see why I wrote that, but I was just like, that's a very strange sort of like message to, I suppose, a sort of thank you message. And be like, oh, thank you for accompanying us or anything, or, you know, thank you for being responsible, something you rely on, that sort of sense. It's just like, oh, thank you for treating my eye. Like, I suppose if you do work with young children, you probably do expect that sort of, you don't expect them to be like particularly amazingly eloquent, I suppose, with their thank you messages or anything like that. So it's a little bit unsurprising, I suppose, in that aspect. So I suppose, you know, if I was in her position, I'd probably find it kind of endearing. But it must be a little bit tiring seeing every single one of her messages just be boiled down to thank you for helping me with XYZ injury that I sustained on the trip. But I don't know, and I suppose if you are a nurse or if you become someone in the medical profession, perhaps you take pride, I suppose, in that sort of fact. You're like, oh, you know, this is what I signed up for, this career path for. In which case, fair enough. Good on you. Hold on, what missions do we have? Did I even look? Oh, we haven't found whoever our crafter is yet. So we should probably do that, and we should probably talk to a couple other people. Let's have a quick zoom around our island, just see if we can find out who our crafting villager is. It's not Amelia, because I know we saw her sitting down. Yeah, do I have anything else to say about hay fever? I mean, there was a time when I was younger, I thought I was allergic to lavender, I suppose. I don't really know if that's true. I don't think I really have any allergies outside of, I suppose, mild allergy to pollen, I suppose, which whatever the contribution to hay fever is in particular. Oh, hello. Apollo and Biscuit are both here. So it can't be Lily, it can't be Biscuit, it can't be... So I guess Rowan has to be the one crafter. What? I don't know what you just said, Biscuit, except for you stood outside my home for like an hour, which I can't particularly recommend you do, but fair enough, I suppose it already happened now. Yeah, there was a time when I was younger I thought I was allergic to lavender, because lavender smelled so strong to me. I don't think I am allergic to lavender, mind you, or anything like that. But I always think back because, like, I can't remember. But lavender, I guess, just the actual plant itself just smells kind of strong in the first place. So every time I got near it, and it smelled so strong, and it smelled so much stronger than like every other flower, I suppose my younger me took that as an interpretation of being like, oh, I must be allergic to this, which I don't really think is how that happened. I don't think I've had any aversive reactions of, oh, it's not Rowan. Wait, who's our crafter then? Because Lily's wandering about, isn't she? Oh, is it Vivian? It might be Vivian. I don't know if we checked Vivian's house. But younger me took that to mean, oh, I must be allergic to this, which is not really how allergies work and that sort of thing. Or maybe it is how allergies work. Maybe that is a symptom or a sign, but I would refer to a medical professional over this rather than me. But I do remember that I went to like a Christmas, I'm not sure what to call it, Christmas fair, Christmas sort of activities day, being held in like the local church for like all school children, that sort of thing. Because my best friend at the time, he was I think in partnership, not partnership, but he was he went to that church or something, and their family was closely involved with that sort of thing, so he invited me along, and I was like, yeah, sure, that sounds like fun. So I went there, and I remember one of the things they asked you at the beginning was basically, do you have any allergies? Because of course, some of the other things are like you get to eat things, etc., etc. They're full of like weird and wacky activities, etc., etc. And I remember being like, I don't think so. But then I remember going to my best friend's like I remember I was talking to his older brother and his father, I think, and just being like, I actually think I am allergic. I actually think I'm allergic to lavender. I mean, I don't know why this memory is stuck in my head. I just remember the older brother being like, oh yeah, well, I guess that's okay, because you don't really eat lavender, can you? I don't know why that memory is so like ingrained into my mind for no apparent reason. It's just a curse of having such a good memories. I remember so many random nonsense things for no apparent reason. And you know, a lot of people tend to remember things which have like strong bearings on our lives, or monumental moments or things like that. And I just remember like this random conversation about me thinking like was allergic to lavender for no apparent reason. I wonder what that guy's up to. I haven't spoken to anyone from primary school for years now. He was a smart kid. I'm sure he's often doing great things. He had a good heart in him, as what me as an adult looking back at it, he was a very, very nice person. But anyway, sorry, I'm not really here to reflect on people I don't even know. They probably don't even remember me. I'm not even sure. Well, okay, let's not go that far. They probably remember me, but they, you know, I think it's like a natural thing to be like, oh, I wonder what happened to them. Now, you know, the infamous words of, is it vitamin C? You sang the graduation song or whatever? You know, just that kind of whole general vibe. Man, this conversation in this episode's really gone off the rails, huh? I don't really have anything else to say about hay fever, I suppose. I'm trying to think. I don't think I've had any like major other run-ins with hay fever, apart from the fact I go through like tissues like crazy. Like I remember, it's a bit stupid now. I think I'm not really stupid, but I was very unprepared, I suppose. But back in secondary school, where I used to go through like tissues a lot like crazy because of course, you know, had a lot of mucus build up, and especially in sixth form, I always had to ask one of my friends. I was like, "Can I?" Because he always had he was always very prepared and had like a pack of tissues with him all the time, which, you know, I definitely should have been, but we didn't have small packs of tissues. Oh no, you know what I did? I used to bring tissues from home. I used to like just take them out of a tissue box and put them in my pocket, but I'd always use them all up. So by the time it came to a chemistry lesson later in the day, I always had to ask him, be like, "Can I have a tissue?" I'm really sorry about this. And I remember one of the times, I'm trying to think, it must have been during electronics lessons or that sort of thing. Like I was talking to my teacher, being like, and he was just like, "Are you alright? Do you like need a tissue?" And be like, "Yeah," and I do, but I don't have any more tissues. About something. He was like, "Oh, you can just go into the staff room and get tissues," because, you know. And I would say that department, that physics electronics department, was very casual and that sort of thing. And I like to think in good standing with him because I was rather a good student. And we were just like, "Oh, just, you know," and I was like, "Is that okay to just like barge into the physics and the physics office department and just like grab tissues?" And they were just like, "Yeah, okay, everyone knows who you are, you'll be fine." And I was like, "Alright." So that happened every now and then. I just walk in, you know, say hi to other teachers, being like, "I'm just here to grab my, you know, daily allotment of tissues to blow my nose with." Perhaps I was more affected by hay fever than I imagined. That was just amusing to look back on. I think I started doing that in chemistry as well. I don't even remember. Of course, chemistry is a bit more different because I think to get in, they had like a much smaller office or that sort of thing. And I wasn't in as close cahoots, I suppose. Well, not cahoots, but like there are a lot of the other chemistry teachers I hadn't really spoken to all that often. And good times, I suppose. Yeah, and sometimes I blow my nose so much, and that like I start to like what's the word, like causing like abrasions, I suppose, on like, what's this called, like the philtrum, I suppose, part of your nose, like just underneath the bottom. It would get like very sore and very dry because I kept like, you know, wiping it to blow my nose. Oh, bad times now I think about it. Apparently I was more affected by hay fever than I might have thought. Wow. Isn't this eye-opening, looking back on the new memories you have under a whole new light? A whole new light. Anyway, I'm going to round off this episode here, so I know. What's the question for today? Do you get affected by hay fever? How are you holding up if you're in the you know, this spring season, I suppose, and dealing with hay fever? My you know, my heart goes out to you, and I hope that's all okay and not too much of a nuisance. But anyway, if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Any likes, comments, subscriptions, shares are greatly appreciated. Join my Dear Darling Discord or follow me on Twitter down below. I hope we can see each other again, but for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye bye for now.